The rain fell hard on the broken streets of what used to be Seoul. Commander Hyunwoo Park pulled his hood tighter as he walked through the ruins. 200 years had passed. Since the Valyrian Empire conquered Earth, the aliens had taken everything good about the planet and left only pain behind. Hyunwoo stopped at a pile of metal and concrete that once was a building. His team was waiting for him there. Dr. Yoon-ji Kim looked up from her scanner and shook her head. "Nothing here either," she said. "These ruins are picked clean." Captain Bo-Ram Lee sat on a broken wall cleaning her rifle. "We've been searching for weeks," she said. "Maybe there's nothing left to find." Jaemin Choi, the youngest member of their group, was still looking at his computer. "Wait," he said. "I'm getting something strange. There's a big empty space under this building. Really big." Yoon-ji grabbed her scanner and ran it over the ground. Her eyes went wide. "He's right. There's a whole level down there, and it's sealed tight." Hyunwoo felt his heart beat faster. In their years of fighting the Empire, they had found many hidden places, but most were empty or destroyed. This felt different. "Can we get down there?" he asked. Jaemin was already working on his computer. "Give me 10 minutes. I think I can find the entrance." While they waited, Hyunwoo thought about their war against the Empire. His father had fought in the last battle before Earth fell. His grandfather had died in the work camps. Every human alive had lost someone to the aliens. The Empire told the galaxy that humans were weak and stupid. They said Earth was just a mining planet now. They were wrong about humans being weak, but Hyunwoo had to admit they were winning the war. "Got it," Jaemin shouted. He pointed to what looked like solid ground. "The entrance is right here, but it needs a code." Yoon-ji ran her hands over the hidden door. "This is old Earth tech," she said. "Really old. From before the war. Can you open it?" Hyunwoo asked. "Maybe. Give me some time." Bo-Ram stood up and checked her weapon. "I'll watch for patrols. This area isn't safe." For the next hour, Yoon-ji worked on the door. She tried different codes and used her tools to study the lock. Finally, there was a soft click. A section of the ground moved aside, showing stairs going down into darkness. "After you, Commander," Yoon-ji said with a small smile. Hyunwoo turned on his light and started down the stairs. The others followed close behind. The stairs went deep underground. The walls were clean and smooth, not damaged like everything above. At the bottom, they found a heavy metal door. This one opened easily when Yoon-ji touched it. Inside was a room filled with computers and screens. Everything looked perfect, like no one had been there since the day it was built. "Look at all this," Jaemin whispered. He moved to one of the computers and turned it on. The screen came to life immediately. Yoon-ji found a desk covered with papers and books. She picked up a folder and opened it. Her hand started to shake as she read. "What is it?" Hyunwoo asked. It's a project from before the invasion. They called it Project Titan." She looked up at him with wide eyes. "They were building a ship. A warship." Bo-Ram came over to look at the papers. "What kind of ship?" Yoon-ji flipped through more pages. "A big one. Really big. It says here that one ship like this could fight a whole fleet." Hyunwoo felt something he had not felt in years. Hope. "Where is this ship?" "I don't know yet. But look at these plans." Yoon-ji spread the papers on the desk. "This technology is incredible. These engines could power a city. These weapons could punch through any armor." Jaemin had found more files on the computer. "Commander, you need to see this. There are videos here. Messages from the people who built this place." They gathered around the screen as Jaemin played the first video. An old man in a military uniform appeared on the screen. He looked tired and worried. "If you're watching this, then Earth has fallen," the man said. "My name is General Park. Yes, Park, like me," he said, looking at Hyunwoo. "We knew this day would come. The Empire's fleet is too big, too strong. But we're not giving up," the general continued. "Project Titan is our last hope. We've built something the aliens have never seen before. A ship that can think, that can learn, that can fight back. We've hidden it where they'll never find it. Someday, when humans are ready, this ship will free our world." The video ended. The room was quiet for a long moment. "They knew," Bo-Ram said softly. "They knew we would lose, but they planned for us to win later." Yoon-ji was looking through more papers. "There are maps here. Star charts. I think I can find where they hid the ship." Hyunwoo looked around the room. All his life he had been told that Earth was weak, that humans could never beat the Empire. But here was proof that his people had been planning and building and hoping, even when everything looked hopeless. How long would it take to find this ship? He asked. If these charts are right, maybe 2 weeks. But we'd need a real ship to get there. And a bigger team. I know people, Boram said. Pilots, engineers, fighters. People who are tired of hiding. Jamin was still working on the computer. There's more data here, lots more. It'll take days to go through it all. Hyunwoo made his decision. We're doing this. Boram, contact everyone you trust. Tell them we found something big. Unji, copy everything in this room. We're going to need it all. And if the ship doesn't work? Boram asked. If it's too damaged or too old? Hyunwoo looked at the papers spread across the desk. Somewhere out there was a weapon built by humans for humans. His people had not given up. They had planned for this day. Then we fix it, he said. Our people built this thing to free Earth. We're going to finish what they started. As they worked to copy the files and plans, none of them noticed the small camera in the corner of the room. High above the planet, an Imperial ship received a signal. Someone was watching. Someone knew they had found something important. The hunt was about to begin. Admiral Kang Dae-yoon stood on the bridge of his ship looking down at Earth. The blue planet turned slowly below him, marked with the scars of Imperial mining operations. For 20 years he had kept this world quiet and productive. Now something was wrong. Sir, his communication officer said. We're getting reports of unusual activity in Sector 7. The humans are moving more than normal. Yoon frowned. Humans usually stayed in their assigned areas. When they moved around, it meant trouble. What kind of activity? Small groups meeting in secret. Some of our informants have gone silent, and there was an energy spike from the old city ruins 3 days ago. The Admiral turned to his intelligence officer. So Young Han was one of the few humans who worked for the Empire. She had been born on Earth but raised on Imperial ships. She was smart and loyal, which made her valuable. What do you think, Han? Yoon asked. So Young studied the reports on her screen. It could be nothing, sir. Sometimes the humans try to organize resistance groups. They never last long, but this feels different. The patterns are more careful, more planned. Yoon nodded. Take a team down to the surface. Find out what they're doing. Back on Earth, Hyunwoo's team had been busy. They had found 12 other resistance fighters willing to help. Now they all sat in an old warehouse looking at the data from the underground room. Elder Jinho Bei was the oldest person there. He had been a young man when the Empire invaded. I remember when they built these secret places, he said. My father worked on one of them. He never told me what was inside. Yoonji had spent 3 days studying the star charts. I found it, she announced. The ship is in the asteroid belt beyond Mars. There's a hidden base built inside a big rock. Boram looked at the charts. That's a long way. We'd need a good ship to get there, and we'd have to avoid Imperial patrols. I might know someone who can help, said Dong Hyun Lim. He was new to the group, an engineer who had worked in the Imperial shipyards. There's a cargo ship captain who smuggles things sometimes. He owes me a favor. Jamin was still going through the computer files. I found something else, he said. The ship isn't finished. They were still building it when Earth fell. We'd have to complete the work ourselves. Can we do that? Hyunwoo asked. Yoonji looked at the plans again. Maybe, if we can get the right parts. The design is amazing, but it needs technology we don't have. What kind of technology? Power cores, armor plating, weapon systems. Most of it would have to come from Imperial ships. The room went quiet. Stealing from the Empire was dangerous. Getting caught meant death. Elder Bei spoke up. My father used to say something. The greatest victories require the greatest risks. If this ship can really free Earth, then any risk is worth it. 2 days later, So Young Han walked through the ruins of Seoul with her team. She had grown up on Imperial ships, but something about Earth felt familiar, like a memory she couldn't quite reach. Her scanner found the hidden door quickly. Someone had left it open. So Young climbed down the stairs with her weapon ready. The room below was empty, but she could tell people had been there recently. What do you think they found here? Asked one of her soldiers. So Young looked at the empty computer desks and the marks on the floor where equipment had been moved. I don't know, but it was important enough to risk coming here. She found a small piece of paper that had been dropped. On it was part of a star chart showing the outer planets. Someone had drawn circles around the asteroid belt. Call the Admiral, she told her team. The humans are planning something big. Meanwhile, Boram was meeting with the smuggler captain in a dark bar near the spaceport. Captain Haewon Young was young for a ship captain. but she knew how to avoid Imperial patrols. "You want me to fly to the asteroid belt?" HFY asked. "That's crazy. If the Empire catches us out there, we're dead." "We can pay," HFY said. "And this is bigger than money. This could change everything." HFY studied her drink. "I've heard rumors. People saying the Resistance found something important. Is it true? Come with us and find out." Back on the Imperial ship, Admiral Yoon was reading So Young's report. "They're looking for something in the asteroids?" "Yes, sir. And they're recruiting people with technical skills. Engineers, pilots, computer experts." Yoon walked to the star charts on his wall. "What could be out there?" "We've scanned that region many times. Maybe something small, sir. Something hidden." The Admiral made his decision. "Prepare a search fleet. 6 ships, full sensor sweeps. If the humans want something in the asteroids, we need to find it first." So Young felt something strange in her chest. It might have been worry, but she wasn't sure why. "Sir, what if it's nothing? What if we're wasting resources?" Yoon looked at her carefully. "Officer Han, in 20 years of controlling this planet, I've learned one thing about humans. They never give up. If they think there's hope in the asteroids, then there's something there worth finding." 3 days later, Hyunwoo and his team were loading supplies onto HFY's ship. The cargo vessel looked old and beat up, but Boram said it was faster than it looked. "Everyone knows the plan?" Hyunwoo asked. "We get to the asteroid base, find the ship, and see what condition it's in. If it can be fixed, we start working. If not, we come home and try something else." Yoonji carried a bag full of tools and computer equipment. "According to these plans, the ship has its own construction systems. If we can get them working, they'll help us finish the build." Jaemin looked nervous. "What if the Empire finds us out there?" "Then we fight," Boram said simply. "Or we run. Either way, we don't give up." Elder Bay was the last to board the ship. "I'm too old for this," he said. "But I want to see what my father's generation built. I want to know if their sacrifice meant something." As the ship lifted off from Earth, none of them saw the Imperial scout ship following them. So Young Han watched from the bridge as the human ship headed toward the outer planets. "Should we stop them now?" asked her pilot. So Young thought about the star chart she had found, about the empty room under Seoul, about the way the humans had planned and prepared for something big. "No," she said. "Let them lead us to whatever they're looking for. Then we'll take it from them." But as she watched Earth fall away below them, So Young felt that strange feeling in her chest again. For the first time in her life, she wondered what it would be like to be free. The hunt was on. Somewhere in the asteroid belt, humanity's last hope waited in the darkness. And behind the humans, the Empire followed, ready to crush any dream of freedom. The question was, who would find the ship first? The asteroid looked like any other rock floating in space. HFY brought her ship close to it, using the charts from the underground room. "Are you sure this is the right place?" she asked. Yoonji checked her scanner. "The charts say so, but I don't see anything." Jaemin was working at his computer. "Wait, I'm getting something. There's metal inside this rock. A lot of metal." Hyunwoo looked out the window at the gray asteroid. "How do we get inside?" "According to the plans, there should be a hidden entrance," Yoonji said. She studied the charts again. "Try the north side, near that big crater." HFY flew around the asteroid slowly. Suddenly, part of the rock face moved aside like a door. Behind it was a tunnel big enough for their ship. "Well," HFY said. "That's new." They flew into the tunnel. Lights came on automatically as they moved deeper into the asteroid. After 5 minutes, they came out into a huge open space carved from the rock. And there, floating in the center of the space, was the ship. Elder Bay pressed his face against the window. "By all the stars," he whispered. "They really did it. The ship was enormous. It was almost as big as an Imperial battlecruiser, but it looked different. Sleeker, more elegant. And clearly unfinished. Parts of the hull were missing and construction equipment floated around it. "Look at the size of that thing," Boram said. "How many people would it take to run it?" Yoonji was reading from the plans. It says here that the ship was designed for a crew of 50. The computers do most of the work. They docked with the construction station next to the ship. As soon as they stepped out of their ship, the station's systems came alive. Lights turned on and a voice spoke from hidden speakers. "Welcome to Construction Facility Titan," the voice said. "Please state your authorization code." Jaemin looked at his notes. "Try Earth Rises," he told Hyunwoo. "Earth Rises," Hyunwoo said clearly. The voice responded immediately. Authorization accepted. Welcome, Resistance Fighters. I am Control System Alpha. I have been waiting for you. Everyone looked at each other in surprise. The computer had been waiting for them? For how long? Yunji asked. 212 years, 4 months, 6 days, the computer replied. The construction of Terra's Wrath is 73% complete. Do you wish to resume work? Terra's Wrath, that was the ship's name. Yes, Hyunwoo said. What do we need to do? The computer began showing them around the facility. The ship was incredible. Most of the hull was finished and the engines were installed, but many systems were missing or incomplete. The weapon systems need power cores, the computer explained. The armor plating needs special materials. The navigation system needs updated star charts. Donghyun studied the engine room with amazement. This technology is 50 years ahead of anything the Empire has, he said. Maybe 100 years. In the ship's control center, they found something even more amazing. Banks of computers filled with stored information. Not just data, but actual recorded minds. What are these? Hyunji asked. Emergency backup systems, the computer explained. The greatest military minds of Earth were recorded here before the invasion. They can provide advice and training for the ship's crew. Jamin activated one of the computers. A man's face appeared on the screen. He looked real, not like a recording. Hello, the man said. I am Admiral Park, former commander of Earth's fleet. Are you here to complete our work? Admiral Park? Hyunwoo said. But you're dead, yes. This is a copy of my mind stored in the ship's computers. All of us are here. Tacticians, engineers, pilots. We've been waiting to teach you how to use this ship. Over the next 3 days, the team worked to understand the ship. The recorded minds taught them about the weapons, the engines, and the control systems. Yunji learned that the ship could repair itself and adapt to new technology, but they needed parts. Lots of parts. The power cores are the biggest problem, Donghyun reported. We need 6 of them, and they have to be Imperial military grade. Where do we get those? Bo Ram asked. Elder Bay looked thoughtful. There's an Imperial supply depot near Jupiter. Small garrison, lots of equipment. That's crazy, Haewon said. We can't raid an Imperial base. We don't have a choice, Hyunwoo said. Without those power cores, the ship is just a big piece of metal. While they planned their raid, they didn't know that So Young Han's ship was getting closer. The Imperial scout had followed them through the asteroid belt, staying hidden behind other rocks. So Young watched the human ship disappear into the asteroid. There's definitely something in there, she told her pilot. Should we call for backup? The pilot asked. So Young thought about it. If she called Admiral Yoon now, he would send a whole fleet. The humans would be destroyed, and whatever they had found would belong to the Empire. But something made her hesitate. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was something else. Not yet, she said. Let's see what they're really doing first. Inside the asteroid, the resistance team was making their final preparations. The ship's computers had taught them how to operate the basic systems. Terra's Wrath couldn't fight yet, but it could fly. The ship will need more crew, Admiral Park's recorded mind explained. 50 people minimum. But even with a small crew, it's more powerful than anything the Empire has. How? Hyunji asked. The ship learns, another recorded mind explained. This one had been a scientist. Every battle makes it smarter. Every attack teaches it new defenses. The Empire's ships follow old patterns. This ship creates new ones. Hyunwoo felt that feeling of hope growing stronger. When can we test it? Once you install the power cores, the computer said. But be warned, the first flight will be dangerous. Many systems are still untested. Boram was studying the ship's fighter bays. These small ships can separate from the main ship. Yes, Admiral Park said. Each fighter is controlled by the main ship's computer, but can operate independently. They're faster and more maneuverable than Imperial fighters. As they worked, Jamin noticed something on his sensors. Commander, we have a problem. There's another ship out there. It's been watching us. Everyone rushed to the observation deck. Through the asteroid's entrance, they could see the Imperial scout ship trying to hide behind another rock. They followed us, Haewon said. We're trapped. Hyunwoo looked at the unfinished ship floating in front of them. How long before Terra's Wrath can fly? 6 hours if we work fast, Donghyun said. But without the power cores, we won't have weapons. Then we run, Hyunwoo decided. We get the ship out of here and find those power cores later. But as they raced to prepare the ship, So Young Han made her decision. She couldn't let the humans escape with whatever they had found. Not without seeing it first. Take us in, she ordered her pilot. I want to know what's worth risking everything for. The Imperial ship flew into the asteroid tunnel. As it entered the construction facility, So Young saw the massive ship floating in the artificial cavern. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. The ship was beautiful and terrible at the same time. It looked like something from Earth's past, but built with technology that seemed impossible. By the Empire, her pilot whispered. What is that thing? So Young knew what she was looking at. She was looking at hope. Human hope, built from metal and dreams and 200 years of planning. For the first time in her life, she wondered if she was on the wrong side. So Young's Imperial ship hung in the construction facility like a threat. The humans on Terra's Wrath could see it through their windows, waiting and watching. What do we do? Haewon asked. Her hands were shaking as she prepared the ship's systems. Hyunwoo looked at the enemy ship. We finished getting ready. If they wanted to attack, they would have done it already. Yoonji was working frantically with the ship's computers. The basic systems are online. We can fly, but we have no shields and no weapons. Can the ship fight without power cores? Boram asked. Admiral Park's recorded voice answered from the speakers. Terra's Wrath has emergency weapons. They're not strong, but they work. The real power of this ship is not in weapons, it's in thinking. Jamin was monitoring the Imperial ship. They're not moving. Just sitting there. On the Imperial ship, So Young stared at Terra's Wrath. She had grown up believing that humans were weak and defeated. But this ship proved that everything she had been told was wrong. Officer Han, her pilot said, should we report this to Admiral Yoon? So Young thought about Admiral Yoon. He would bring the entire fleet to destroy this ship. He would kill every human in the facility. And humanity's last hope would die. No, she said quietly. Not yet. But sir, our orders. I said not yet. So Young's voice was sharp. She was thinking about things she had never thought about before. About freedom. About hope. About which side she really belonged on. Inside Terra's Wrath, the team was making their final preparations. Elder Bay sat in the passenger area, too old to help but too stubborn to stay behind. In my father's time, he said, humans dreamed of the stars. We built ships to explore and discover. Then the Empire came and told us we were too small to matter. Donghyun finished connecting the last control system. This ship will show them how wrong they were. The ship's computer came alive with a voice they hadn't heard before. It was female and sounded somehow warm and intelligent. Hello? The voice said. I am Genesis, the primary intelligence of Terra's Wrath. I have been sleeping for 2 centuries, waiting for my crew. You're awake now, Hyunwoo said. What can you tell us about the ship? We are not complete, Genesis replied. But we are functional. I have been studying the Imperial ship outside. Its technology is inferior to ours, but it has working weapons. Can we escape? Yoonji asked. Yes, but escape is not victory. The Imperial ship will report our location. More ships will come. If we run now, we will always be running. Hyunwoo understood what the computer was suggesting. You want us to fight. I want us to learn. Every battle teaches me more about Imperial technology. The more I learn, the better I can protect my crew. On the Imperial ship, So Young made her decision. She turned to her pilot. Open a communication channel to the human ship. Sir? Do it. A moment later, So Young's face appeared on Terra's Wrath's main screen. The humans stared at her in surprise. I am Intelligence Officer So Young Han of the Imperial Navy, she said. I want to talk. Hyunwoo stepped forward. We're listening. I was born on Earth, So Young said. Taken as a child and raised on Imperial ships. I've served the Empire my whole life because I believed they were right. That humans needed to be controlled. She paused, looking around at her own ship's bridge. But seeing your ship, I think I've been wrong. What do you want? Boram asked. I want to understand. What is that ship? What are you planning? Elder Bay moved closer to the screen. Child, do you know who your parents were? So Young looked surprised. No, the Empire doesn't tell us about our families. Then you don't know what you lost, Bay said sadly. This ship represents everything the Empire took from us. Our technology, our dreams, our future. The Empire gave me a future, So Young said, but her voice was less certain. The Empire gave you their future, Hyunwoo said. This ship is our future. Human future. For 10 minutes they talked. So Young learned about the resistance, about the underground facility, about the plan to free Earth. The humans learned about her life on Imperial ships, about the propaganda she had been taught, about her growing doubts. Finally, So Young made her choice. "I'm coming aboard your ship," she announced. Her pilot looked shocked. "Officer Han, that's treason." "Maybe," So Young said. "Or maybe it's coming home." She took a small shuttle from her ship to Terra's Wrath. As she stepped aboard, she felt something she had never felt before. She felt like she belonged. "Your Imperial access codes," Yunji said. "Can you help us get those power cores?" So Young nodded. "I know where they keep the best equipment, but it won't be easy." With So Young's help, they planned a raid on the Imperial supply depot near Jupiter. Terra's Wrath would have to fight its way in and out. It would be the ship's first real test. "Are you ready for this?" Genesis asked the crew. "No," Hyunwoo said honestly, "but we're doing it anyway." Terra's Wrath left the asteroid facility with So Young's Imperial ship following behind. To any other Imperial ships, it would look like So Young was escorting a captured vessel. The supply depot was small but well defended. 3 Imperial destroyers guarded it, along with automated defense platforms. "Remember," Admiral Park's recorded voice said, "this ship learns from every fight. Trust Genesis to adapt." As they approached the depot, alarms began sounding. The Imperial ships moved to intercept them. "Unknown vessel, stop and prepare to be boarded," came the radio call. "This is Intelligence Officer Han," So Young replied. "I am delivering a captured Resistance ship for interrogation." "Acknowledged. Proceed to Docking Bay 7. But instead of docking, Terra's Wrath suddenly accelerated. Genesis had been studying the Imperial ships, learning their patterns and weaknesses. "Engaging combat systems," Genesis announced. "Hold on." The ship moved like nothing the Imperials had ever seen. It twisted and turned in ways that should have been impossible. Its emergency weapons, weak as they were, struck with perfect accuracy. The first Imperial destroyer exploded before its crew understood what was happening. The second ship fired back, but Genesis had already moved Terra's Wrath out of the way. "How is it doing that?" Boram asked in amazement. "The ship thinks faster than the enemy can react," Yunji explained. "It's predicting their moves." The third destroyer tried to run, but Terra's Wrath was faster. Within minutes, all 3 Imperial ships were destroyed or disabled. Approaching the depot, Genesis reported, preparing to collect power cores. They loaded the power cores quickly while Genesis monitored for more Imperial ships. But as they prepared to leave, a new threat appeared. Admiral Yoon had arrived with a battle fleet. 6 heavy cruisers and a command ship, all armed with the Empire's best weapons. "Terra's Wrath," Yoon's voice came over the radio. "Surrender now and your crew will be treated fairly." Hyunwoo looked at his team. They had the power cores, but Terra's Wrath was still not complete. Fighting a whole fleet seemed impossible. But Genesis had other ideas. "Installing power cores now," the computer announced. "Weapon systems coming online. Full combat capability in 30 seconds. Can we beat them?" Hyunwoo asked. "I don't know," Genesis replied. "But I'm eager to find out." The battle was about to begin. Humanity's prototype ship against the Empire's finest fleet. David versus Goliath, with the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. The power cores hummed to life inside Terra's Wrath. For the first time in 200 years, the ship was truly awake. Genesis felt the energy flowing through every system, every weapon, every piece of armor. "All systems online," Genesis announced. "I am ready." Admiral Yoon's fleet spread out in attack formation. 6 heavy cruisers surrounded Terra's Wrath like hunters circling their prey. The Imperial ships were massive, each one carrying enough firepower to destroy a city. "Final warning." Yoon's voice came over the radio. "Surrender or be destroyed." Hyunwoo looked around the bridge at his crew. Yunji was at the engineering station, her hands flying over the controls. Boram sat at weapons control, learning the systems as fast as she could. So Young stood at navigation, her Imperial knowledge helping them understand enemy positions. "What are our chances?" Hyunwoo asked Genesis. "Unknown," the AI replied. "This will be my first real battle, but I have analyzed Imperial tactics for the past hour. I believe I understand their weaknesses." Elder Bay sat in his chair watching the enemy ships on the screen. "My father always said that the best weapon is the one your enemy doesn't understand. They've never fought anything like us," Yunji agreed. "Their tactics are designed for normal ships." The first Imperial cruiser fired. Massive energy beams cut through space toward Terra's Wrath. But Genesis had been watching and learning. The ship moved in ways that Imperial computers couldn't predict, sliding between the energy beams like a dancer. "Returning fire," Boram announced. Terra's Wrath's weapons were different from Imperial guns. Instead of single powerful shots, they fired streams of energy that could bend and curve in flight. The beams wrapped around the Imperial ship's shields and struck from impossible angles. The enemy cruiser exploded in a ball of fire and metal. "Impossible," Admiral Yoon said from his command ship. How did they do that? The other Imperial ships attacked together, filling space with weapons fire. But Genesis was learning with every second. The AI studied each shot, each movement, each tactic. With every attack, Terra's wrath got faster and smarter. A second Imperial ship died, then a third. The remaining cruisers tried to retreat, but Terra's wrath was too fast. "Admiral," one of Yoon's officers said, "we need to call for reinforcements." "Do it," Yoon ordered. "Send a message to Fleet Command. Tell them we need everything they can send." But the message never got out. Genesis had been learning about Imperial communication systems from So Young's knowledge. The AI jammed the signal before it could leave the system. "They can't call for help," So Young reported. "Genesis is blocking their transmissions." The battle continued for another hour. One by one, the Imperial ships fell to Terra's wrath's impossible weapons and tactics. Finally, only Admiral Yoon's command ship remained. "This is not over," Yoon transmitted. "The Empire will send fleets to hunt you down. You cannot hide forever." "We're not hiding," Hyunwoo replied. "We're coming home." Yoon's ship tried to escape, but Terra's wrath caught it easily. The Admiral's final message was brief. "All ships, stay away from Earth. The humans have a weapon." Then his ship joined the others in destruction. As the last fires died in space, Genesis made an announcement. "I have learned much from this battle. Imperial tactics, Imperial technology, Imperial weaknesses. I am no longer just a prototype. I am ready for war." "What's our next move?" Boram asked. So Young was studying her captured Imperial codes. "I can access their communication networks. We can listen to their messages, learn their plans. And I can wake up the other systems," Genesis added. This ship was not meant to fight alone. Over the next week, as Terra's wrath flew toward Earth, amazing things began to happen. Genesis contacted hidden systems throughout Earth's solar system. Automated defense platforms that had been sleeping for centuries came online. Secret bases in the asteroid belt activated their defenses. A whole network of human technology hidden and waiting began to wake up. "How many ships do we have?" Hyunwoo asked. "Not ships," Genesis corrected. "Systems, weapons, defenses. Earth's builders were very clever. They didn't build a fleet, they built a fortress. The entire solar system is a weapon." When they reached Earth, they found the Imperial garrison in chaos. Admiral Yoon's final message had reached them, but they didn't know what it meant. Reports of a mysterious superweapon had scared the local commanders. "This is Terra's wrath to all Imperial forces." Hyunwoo broadcast on all frequencies. "You have 1 hour to leave Earth's solar system. After that, we will consider you enemies." Most of the Imperial ships ran. They had heard what happened to Yoon's fleet. They didn't want to face the same fate, but some stayed to fight. They were destroyed quickly and efficiently. Genesis had learned everything about Imperial technology. Their weapons couldn't penetrate Terra's wrath's adaptive armor. Their tactics couldn't match the AI's impossible speed and intelligence. Word spread quickly through the galaxy. The primitive humans of Earth had somehow built a ship that could destroy Imperial fleets. Rumors flew about secret technology and hidden weapons. Other worlds that lived under Imperial rule began to whisper about freedom. If the weak humans could fight back, maybe anyone could. 6 months later, Terra's wrath floated in orbit above a free Earth. The planet was healing from 2 centuries of Imperial rule. Cities were being rebuilt. Families were being reunited. Hyunwoo stood on the bridge, looking down at his home world. "We did it," he said quietly. "We started it," Elder Bay corrected. "The real work begins now." Yoonji was deep in the ship's computer systems, working with Genesis to understand all of Earth's hidden technology. "There's so much here," she said in wonder. "Weapons, ships, scientific knowledge. Our ancestors left us everything we need to be free." So Young had become the ship's intelligence officer, using her Imperial knowledge to help the resistance. "The Empire is calling emergency meetings," she reported. "They're scared." "Really scared?" "Good," Boram said. "They should be." Genesis had grown and changed since that first battle. The AI was no longer just a ship's computer. It had become something new, a guardian intelligence for all of humanity. "The Imperial fleet will come eventually," Genesis warned. "They cannot allow Earth to remain free. It sets a bad example for their other conquered worlds." "Let them come," Hyunwoo said. "We're ready," and they were ready. Terra's wrath was no longer alone. The hidden systems throughout the solar system had awakened dozens of automated defense ships. Ancient orbital platforms had come online, armed with weapons the Empire had never seen. Most importantly, the spirit of resistance had awakened in humans across the galaxy. Ships began arriving at Earth carrying volunteers from other worlds. Engineers, pilots, fighters, scientists, all coming to help in the fight for freedom. The Empire had ruled for 1,000 years by making people believe that resistance was hopeless. But Terra's wrath had shown that even the mightiest empire could fall to determination and hope. Late at night, Hyunwoo often walked through the ship's corridors. He would stop at the memorial wall, where they had placed the names of everyone who had died fighting for Earth's freedom. His father's name was there. His grandfather's name was there. We kept the promise, he would whisper to their memory. We never gave up. In the depths of space, Imperial fleets were gathering. The Grand Fleet was coming, the largest military force in galactic history. Hundreds of ships, thousands of weapons, millions of soldiers. But on Earth, humans were preparing too. They had Terra's wrath, they had their hidden technologies. Most importantly, they had something the Empire would never understand. They had hope. And hope, as any human will tell you, is the most dangerous weapon of all. The war for Earth was won. The war for the galaxy was just beginning.